I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we start, I'll just I'd like to make just a quick announcement. I've announced it a couple of times. This is a benefit for Mark Casper and Marty Payne. They're employees of the Templeton Highway Department. It's a pig roast and raffle with live entertainment at the Templeton Fish and Game Club, Saturday, October 12th, 2013. It begins at noontime. A meal will be served at 2:30. There's meal and raffle tickets are $20 each. It's hosted by Citizens for Templeton. For questions, donations, tickets, contact David Smart, 978-632-6421, or stop by the Highway Barn. We'll call there at 978-939-8666. Tonight's agenda was amended by request of resident Dana Blaze to discuss some things of building at 252 Baldwinville Road. Dana?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for...
And just before you start, we have a poll hearing at 6:45, okay, so.
Yeah,
All
okay.
right.
Yeah, thank you for agenda. I just wanted to, I got this proposal last time about there was interest in town of people wanting to work on 252 Baldwinville Road. And this is preliminary of what we've dealt with so far. What we did was we took the architect's estimated cost of $2.2 million. The bids came in at $2.8 million, but out of that,
Dana, do you have another copy? Because we need to keep it for the records.
we can make a copy.
I'll make a copy of mine now.
Oh, here's one here.
Hold on.
Yeah, here's one, yeah.
That's fine.
And what we're able to do, our work isn't done yet. We don't feel it is, but we're able to reduce that $2.2 million. We're able to bring it down to $1.25 million. And the way we did that was, if you can follow through here. So it would make the total cost of the project $1.8 million. At a town meeting vote, the town did vote to spend $1.9 million. And out of that $1.8 million, the design fee's been done. The cost of the land is being paid for in the building. And like I said, we still have more work to do, but these we want to just bring it to the townspeople that is viable. There is a reason. I think the only way this town's going to start moving ahead is to get our own town hall. And this 252 Baldwinville Road would house everybody because the design plans are done. But you can go through all the divisions and the proposals of the reductions on page 5. These are the cuts that we did do out of all the divisions from the architect's estimated cost. And we just want to let you know that we feel as if this building can't come in under budget of what the town voted for. And it's pretty embarrassing, 250 years old, we don't have our own town hall. And there's a lot of interest in town, people that want to see it done. And we feel as if it's well worth waiting to see what the final numbers come out and how much more donations and stuff we can work out and still get down to a definite number here. But as far as we feel as if selling the building right now, we're saying you won't be able to use the money anyway for over a year because they're going to be made into free cash. So it's not like it's going to help the situation right now. And also, if the money that you're paying right now off the $700,000, that money that you're taking out of the budget, because we didn't go an override to pay the $700, that money could be given back and put into the bond to help fund this project. So that's what we've been doing. A few hours in here, but there's more work to do. But Just wanted to let you know how our committee has been working and what we've come up with. You know, we've got volunteer help to do all the site work, plus, you know, we told them to get some work out of the highway. The electrical's gonna be covered. We plan on contacting, Monty Tech to help us out with the plumbing, electrical, and masonry work. Granted, if we deal with them, it's over, because they, you know, we can't get any work out of them in the summertime. But if the project would be, maybe take a year or so to get it finished, but we feel as if it's well worth the wait.
I just have one question, one thing right off the top of my head,
Sure.
Dana.
Yeah.
The first one, obtaining donation of services.
Yeah.
You have the Templeton Highway Department. I believe that was built in already because when they were looking for, I think it was an extra 400,000 or 557 because of the roof loads.
Well, that had nothing to do with it.
No, let me finish here. That they were gonna have the highway haul in the gravel to bring up the grade. I believe that was, they were gonna change, and they were gonna do away with, I think they were talking of not moving the driveway, but having the highway department haul the gravel in to bring up the grade.
I believe.
I'll have to, I can look back
Yeah,
into this, but I
I'm
believe
not
that
sure
was.
about that, we can find that out, but
was-
I think the site work was in, the estimated 2.2 million from the architect, that site work figure was in there. And like I said, we're planning on, we've had a local contractor in town donate his services without materials to do the site work. So I just wanted to.
And do you have any donation letters that indicate these folks are gonna follow through with their donations?
Yeah, we can get all that stuff. Like I said, by the time the town meeting comes up, we plan on having, you know, our letters and the people that have said they'd provide services, we'll have a list of them, but we didn't really feel as if it was time right now to put the list in of who's gonna be doing what.
Yeah.
I mean, a big part of this cost was the contractor's fees. I mean, it was just absolutely ridiculous. Well, it wasn't ridiculous, that's what they get. And he was, like you said, we thought we'd come up with the contractor's fees of saving over $400,000. I mean, their profit alone was $186,000. Plus they had a, you know, percentage on the contingent, you know, they had a bigger contingency. They had overhead, they had site trailer, they had, you know, these kind of things we know we can eliminate. We took out $176,000 for the geothermal heat. They had $41,000 in just planting and trees and shrubs and stuff like this. So when you take all these things away, and we even just, we still have a contingency in here for $22,000 for the entryways, for the north and the east side, depending on which side they want, they're gonna, you know, which one we wanna go with. And just by eliminating one of those, saved quite a bit of money just on side work that was in there.
One thing on the site work, I believe part of the approval of the Conservation Commission was, because rather than having, to take care of the runoff, was a rain garden, which is like grass and shrubs and plantings
Right.
like that on the front and the back. So if you want to eliminate some of that, then there's gonna have to be I would assume there'd have to be an alternate plan
What was it
that
alternate?
would get
Well,
approved by the Conservation
We're
Commission.
saying that we eliminated the figure of the 41,000, but that didn't mean that we eliminated the scope of that part of the project.
Okay.
I just wanna let you know what we've come up with, and we feel as if it'll be worth the town's time not to go out and sell this building as fast as you can do it, which are our plans to do, because we feel as if there is a way out of this and still get it underneath the $1.4 million, $1.9 million that the town already voted for.
So when you say you're gonna eliminate plantings at $41,000, do you have someone who's gonna do that for free? I mean, do you have the plants and everything donated?
Well, we'll find out what it is, I mean.
Well, it's easy to say
Oh,
we
no,
can,
oh, yeah,
but,
oh, yeah.
I mean,
It will.
you know, we have to have it on
Yeah.
paper.
Like I said, this
Because,
is
you
just,
know, there is no funding in place at this time.
well, we still, there's a contingency, and we didn't eliminate everything.
Bob?
I just want to reiterate what Dana said, that it's down, right now, it's down to 1.255. And all this, this proposal here is just preliminary right now. And like Dana said, by the time the town meeting comes around, we'll have a more finite number and also more details on to what can be done and what, you know, what can be donated and what can't. But this is just a preliminary plan right now to get your, present it to you folks so you can see which direction we're headed in. And moving forward, we'll have more accurate numbers and more commitments as far as donations and things like that.
You know, we still left in the erosion control and stuff like that. You know, as far as on the site work, like I said, they had a total cost of $30,692. I mean, we've got the contractors that's gonna do the site work for us. And we feel as if we'll be able to have a little more concrete figures for us, for the town, and definitely have a place we can call a town hall and make that place work. Just wanna bring it to your attention and
Okay.
let you know what we've been doing.
All right, and just be aware that that building is for sale,
Oh, we understand that.
all right? I mean, this, you can't say, you know, we're not gonna sell it. If we
Oh.
get, you know, somebody offered $400,000 for it, I'd jump out the window and sell it right then, if it was just up to me.
Then you'd be losing 200,000.
In the packets that he gave you, are any of the contractors he's talking about listed there?
I did not see it.
Do you have a list of the contractors that
We will.
We will.
you,
Oh, right now, I'll tell you, Kirk Machete offered to donate to do the site work. What are we laughing about back there?
No order yet, please?
All right,
That's what I'm laughing about, you ain't doing that for nothing.
all right, let's keep this civil. We only have a
No, you
couple
ain't.
minutes, and then we
You
have
ain't doing that for
a,
nothing, you never did.
You're out of order. Thank you.
all right, thank you, Dana. I'll take
Full hearing.
a look at those numbers, and I'm sure the rest of the board will. And we'll see where we stand.
Sorry. I got enough.
All right, Mr. Barry, we have a whole hearing to hold. And this is scheduled to begin at 6:45. So I would entertain a motion to open a full hearing at this time.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Julie?
Yes.
Ken? Yes. Mr. Morrison?
Yes.
And yes. All right, Mr. Berry. I know this is,
As you probably noticed, we've changed 8 to 10 poles on Brooks Village Road, just replacing old ratty poles. One of them that we did change, pole number 3, is actually a corner which doesn't have any guying on it, and therefore it was pulling the pole over. So we'd like to install call it a stub pole right directly across the street and run a guy across to it to anchor that pole. That would be in front of house number 5, Brooks Village Road.
Are there any abutters here? No abutters here?
I'd also like to add that we really can't move the pole that's out of line back to make it in line because the house across the street, number 6, has a, well, I think we'd have to move it onto his property to do it, and he has a fence on the edge of his property.
Any members of the board?
I was
have
just,
any cons-
if this is granted, how soon would this be done?
A couple of weeks.
any other member?
I'll make a motion to approve the installation of a pole numbered Templeton Municipal Light Verizon number 3-S Brooks Village Road as shown on the drawing.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. No further questions? Hearing none. Julie?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
And yes. Thank you.
I will make a motion to close the hearing.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. Julie?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
And yes. Thank you.
Let's take about 4 minutes. Record should always.
All right, the next thing is Board of Selectmen minutes. The first one is for May 13th, 2013.
I will make a motion to approve and accept the minutes of May 13th, 2013 as written.
I will second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Anybody have any issues with any of the minutes? Hearing none. Julie?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Motion carries. The next item is Board of Selectmen minutes, May 20th, 2013.
I make a motion to approve the minutes as written for May 20th, 2013.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made and seconded. Anybody have any issue with the minutes? None? Hearing none. Julie?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item, Board of Selectmen minutes, May 28th, 2013.
I make a motion to approve the minutes for May 28th, 2013.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. Does anyone have any issues with these minutes? I don't see anything. Hearing none. Julie?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
The next item, Board of Selectmen minutes, June 12th.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from June 12th, 2013.
Second.
All right. Any issues? Julie?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item, Board of Selectmen minutes, September 9th, 2013.
I make a motion to accept the minutes from September 9th, 2013.
I'll second.
Good job. Any issue with these minutes? See, we ended up with, yep. Hearing none. Julie?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Doug?
I'll abstain since I wasn't there.
And I'll vote yes. The next item, Board of Selectmen minutes, September 16th, 2013.
I make a motion to accept the minutes from September 16th, 2013.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any problems? Issues? Hearing none. Julie?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Doug?
I'll abstain.
And yes. And that are the minutes. The next item on the agenda is a resignation letter for a Council on the Aging board member. It's dated September 7th, 2013. Dear Board of Selectmen, at this time, due to personal changes in my life, I find it necessary to resign from Council on the Aging Board of Directors. As a board member, it has been an interesting and enlightening few years, renewing old friendships and acquiring new ones. This is an exciting time for Templeton seniors, and I hope to participate and help whenever I can. Sincerely yours, Marie Jacques.
I make a motion that we accept the resignation of Marie Jakes with regret.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Julie?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
With regrets, yes. The next item is the Board of Assessors. Is anyone here besides Sue?
Yeah, we're all over here.
Okay.
We're all here. Sue, I'd like to have you.
You have my letter?
Do you want me to read? We do have it.
Huh?
Read your letter.
Would you like me to read it for you?
Yes. This letter has been accepted by the Board of Assessors.
Thank you, John. This is a letter dated September 19th, 2013. It's from Susan Byrne, the Deputy Assessor. As John Brooks said, Board of Assessors have seen this and agreed to it. After almost 10 years of working for the Board of Assessors, I've been presented with the opportunity to advance my career in the assessing field. I will be leaving the town of Templeton to accept an assessing position with the city of Gardner. My last official date being employed with the town of Templeton will be Friday, October 25th, 2013. I would like to thank the board for all the support you have given me over the years. Sincerely, Susan M. Byrne.
I make a motion that we accept the letter of resignation with regret.
I'll second.
Sue, do you have any parting words?
Oh, you don't want to hear my parting words.
You can tell them to me, really.
I have enjoyed working. I've enjoyed working with a lot of the, people that come into my office, the elderly. for their exemptions, the veterans, all those people, the other departments. You know, I think, depending on how, I can talk like this because I'll no longer be an employee and I am no longer a resident of Templeton. So I can talk of this. Unfortunately, I think I am only the first of many of this departure if this override doesn't pass. That's all, and it's a shame because you're gonna lose good people. But on the next note, I believe you have in front of you we updated the deputy assessor job description.
We do. You'll have it.
I would like to point out at this point that the Board of Assessors has read this description and accepted it and presented it to you.
All right. First things first, we have a motion before the board to accept Sue's resignation. It's been made and seconded, so we'll deal with that. Julie?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes. Unfortunately.
No, Sue, you can't go.
Okay.
All right, motion made and accepted.
At this
Oh, I
point,
thought it was working, but-
one of us probably should be standing up and screaming and yelling and saying, no, you can't go and all of this. We're going to miss her terribly. She's been a real asset to this town for a lot of years, and she's done all the heavy lifting in the assessor's office. None of us are gonna even come close to having her background and her talent and her ability to do the job. We're gonna miss her.
All right, the job description for the deputy assessor. And you all have looked at this and approved it, correct?
We've already accepted it, yes. Well, we collectively wrote it.
Minor change.
There was we made some minor changes in it, but
One of the things was, I'll just give you an example, was one of the things was about the, we had somewhere in there about that the deputy assessor goes out for the personal property accounts, and I think the last time it was more cost effective to just hire a company, RRC, to go out and do that, and that's what we did. So it was minor changes like that.
Let's see.
I make a motion that we accept the updated job description for a deputy assessor as recommended by the Board of Assessors.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? No problem? Hearing none? Julie?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
And yes. I would entertain a motion to post this internally. Let's see.
We usually do it for 2 weeks. Yeah. Did you have a question?
I did, but I can wait till after we make a motion.
Okay, all right, I'll make a motion that we post the deputy assessor position internally for 2 weeks.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. Ken?
Would we be, we wouldn't be in a position to actually fill this before the override vote, would we? So that's not a concern that we would have
What's 2 weeks? What's the 2 weeks?
for the
You mean
internal
to fill
posting?
that? We've already worked out I've already worked out with the assessors, worst case scenario, the override failing,
Mhm.
funding, what would happen. And I think along with one of the, how do you say it, so we already worked out worst case scenario, best case scenario, and either way, you have the funding for that.
Okay, great, thank
Right.
you.
Position right now.
Because of Sue's salary drop. Is that?
Yep.
Thank you. All right. Hearing no further questions, Doug? No?
One,
All right.
Jeff,
Yes,
one
John?
point that might come up on this deputy assessor's job that I didn't think of, and I guess the rest of the guys didn't, Bumsy just reminded me, is the attending the county assessors meetings. I don't think we listed that on here.
Well, it's not a requirement. How do
No,
you
but it-
attend them if you have no money?
Well, that's true, but
know.
that's a possibility, is that the new deputy assessor is going to have to attend some of these meetings, and we
Yeah,
just
but
have to
it's
learn the
always,
budget for it.
it's always been an option. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's an
Not
option.
a
It's in
requirement.
there, it's in there with the schooling.
Yeah.
It's in there with the schooling, yeah. And frankly, they really haven't had it.
All right, any other?
'Cause I
Hearing none.
think
Julie?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
And yes.
now you see the kind of. John's got one more thing.
John?
With her resignation, it's time for you and us to post the position. I'm not sure how to go about that. I'm
No, they
sure
just-
she does.
They just discussed that. We're talking about the recap.
And-
That's what I was saying.
Okay, and
Sorry, jumping ahead.
you're jumping ahead of me.
Well, because
Okay.
they just made a motion to.
That's what I did at the last meeting. I would like to point out to the board and to the residents that the assessors have completed, and this isn't gonna go right over everybody's head, I'm sure, because you don't know the forms. The LA4, the LA13, and the LA15 are all done, so the assessors part of setting the tax rate is done. We present it now to the rest of the boards, to treasurer,
And the treasurer and the accountant to
And the
complete next
accountant.
year.
and then it comes to you guys. So our part is done. Forget about it. So I don't have to get the phone call that says, when are we gonna set the tax rate? I'll blame it on you.
Actually, Sue had sent out an email about that, I think. Okay, the next item on the agenda. Chief of Police Dave Whitaker.
Good evening.
Good evening. I didn't do it.
Okay, I come before you with, I've been approached by a local businessman from the racetrack, Rick Marshall, and he has contacted me, and he has 2 portable classrooms, not trailers, the thing says trailers, or I think it says trailers anyhow. They're portable classrooms. He said they're in very good shape. He's willing to give them to the town of Templeton. So he asked me if I might be interested, or any town department might be interested, because he knows I work in a shoebox. So I said, yes, I would be interested, but I come before the board in case there might be another department head or another department that wants to take a look. I'm gonna take a ride down and look at them. Perhaps I can get somebody to go with me, see if they're even worth anything. I don't know what they are. He says they're in very good shape. They came from the Stowe School Department, so they probably are in very good shape.
Yeah.
We might have a moving cost, who knows, but they're worth taking a look. They're 28 by 60. I don't know if they 2 go together or they're 2 separate ones. So I plan to at least go take a look-see, and I'm bringing it before the board just in case someone else wants to join in. And there's no big rush on it. They are in a stored place right now where they're not gonna be vandalized or damaged, he said. I've gotta call him back and he'll tell me the location, and we can take a drive down and see what they are.
John?
I would like to request to go with you. The Arts and Crafts Festival Committee is looking for space because the trailer we've got down at the cemetery is about ready to let us down. And if there might be some space in one of those that gets into town, that would be great.
Just again, they're not trailers, they're a regular building that's gonna be set on a foundation, from my understanding. So, but I know I could use one.
Do you have an idea when you're gonna go?
I haven't had a chance to get it before the board. I've had, probably within the next couple of weeks.
All right,
If someone's interested,
give
they
me-
can contact my office and we'll
okay.
set a date.
Yeah,
How's
if you
that?
shoot me an email or something, like
Okay.
in the
All right.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
Probably, I don't know what the term is, but it might be portable classrooms.
Right.
From the school, right?
Yep.
And if they're each 28 by 60, that's,
Yeah, they're pretty good size, so, yeah.
it's almost bigger than your police station.
Yeah, yeah, it is. So that's all I'm here for, and, if someone wants to get a hold of me, I do plan to take a ride down and check them out. And then I'll come back to the board after I see him and we find out what it is, if we think it's worth, what the cost might be, as much information as I can find out about it.
Where are they at, Stowe?
Stowe.
And if they're split, that's only 14, that's not too bad.
Yeah,
As far as permitting, 16 gets expensive.
yeah, I thought they were pretty big to be over the road, but he said it can be done.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking if they're 28 by 60, they probably split in two.
Yeah.
14 by
14
30.
and 14 foot, it's
Oh,
when you
probably,
get,
yeah, I hadn't thought about that,
when you
yeah.
hit 16
Yeah.
foot, that's when the
Yeah.
permitting gets real expensive.
Yeah,
But
14 by
14 is not bad.
Yeah. So, that's just a thought. I know financially it's not a good time to think about building anything,
Well,
but free is always
The
good.
free is not bad,
So we'll take a look at
they're
it.
in good shape. All right,
Any questions?
Well, Chief, how big are the two that are still sitting over by the center?
I really don't know.
Because there's two sitting there, I don't know.
I don't know what
Something's gotta be
they
done with them.
I think actually at one time, when they switched, was talk about going to the cemetery department. Because one, they're right there,
Yep.
and two,
Tree.
the moving costs and everything was not much, and that was an idea. I think it came up when they got those two extra big ones. I know Doug was on top of that.
Yeah.
Knows about that. But I think that was a thing that was discussed about them too, that are sitting there, the two smaller ones.
They're 12 by
Anyway, thank you.
Okay.
The next thing on the agenda is a pilot for a private solar field. A few weeks ago, a gentleman came in, and they're putting one in the town of Ashburnham, and he was interested in the town of Templeton. So he came into the office. I met briefly with him, myself and the town coordinator. And he discussed where it was gonna be located, how big it was gonna be, and how it works out and how it plays out. And the subject of the pilot came up, and he goes, we just talked about how it would be, and at that time, he still had to talk with the light company. He's had that conversation with Templeton Light about a purchase power agreement. And that went well. And then he came back, and the annual payment in lieu of taxes, which would be over a 20-year period, is $16,902. They come in and they build the field, and then it's maintained and by them. And he says usually they have a built-in extension of another 10 years. That's all contingent on lease agreement with the landowner. I understand it would be located up the end of South Road. It bears to the right. The name of that road escapes me. If you go like to Hoyer's Strawberry Farm,
Railroad?
Yeah.
so it's up there. Again, this is a company, they're building one right now in the town of Ashburnham. They were looking for another town. They came to Templeton. His first question was, with Templeton politics, do you think this would work here? Would it be accepted? It was a good question. The payment in lieu of taxes, it's a business with low impact. They pay for the He said they had to put in a feeder line to go from where this would be located at to tie into Templeton Light, and they pay for that. It's a three-phase line, it's rather pricey, but, and they pass up Templeton, if Templeton said no, they just move on down the street and go to the next town. So, as I said, they have to, work out things with the plan board, but this is 20 years with a possibility of a 10-year extension. And they've been approved in the town of Ashburnham. I've actually been to the site where they're putting it in. And it's no cost to the taxpayers. I know the planning board, Kirk is here. I don't know, I remember being at a planning board meeting
It'd just be site plan review.
where this plan, like rules and stuff for this, that kind of like bordered the state. But that's what he'd have to basically go
It'd be
through.
simple site plan review, yeah, according to the building inspector, very little because it's private and it's not a subdivision and there's no impact, yeah,
So it's a very simple process.
it's a simple process through planning, yeah.
Yeah, Virginia.
Did we create a bylaw just a couple of years ago, maybe about solar fields?
Pages.
In the zoning. Didn't we
I
do
don't
that?
remember. I honestly don't.
I don't know,
It seems to me it came up at the time because there was somebody else interested at the time, so we thought we needed to manage it ahead of time. And I think that in that bylaw, it spells out, what they have to do in order to put it in to begin with, and what they have to do to break it down when its life expectancy is over.
Decommission.
Decommissioning, thank you.
yeah. So,
Have you looked at the IGR on pilot programs for those? Because I believe there's a little more other departments have input. I believe if you read it, it says the assessors also have an input. As far as getting the property appraised and comparing it with is that 16,000 over 20 years?
16,000 a year
A year,
for 20 years,
for 20 years, okay.
yes. Did you have a question, Ken?
No, I just wanted to, for anyone that may be not confused, but just to clarify that we're just approving the pilot, or what we have in front of us is just the pilot agreement, not any kind of approval of the plan. It is, there are provisions in here that if the site isn't constructed, obviously within so many days, or they can't, if they're unable to secure a permanent lease with or a long enough lease with the property owner, that this agreement would be null and void as well.
Yeah, it's just for that amount is agreeable to the town, because I believe it has to go to a town meeting vote. Jeff?
Just to clarify, this is a proposal. It could be signed by the board and nullified by town meeting. It has to pass town meeting approval. It has to go to site plan review. There will be standard building inspection permits pulled, electrical connection permits, etc. The only component on the table tonight is whether $16,902 per year for 20 years is acceptable as a proposal. Even that, there's various out clauses, et cetera, et cetera. Town meeting would take a very close look at this when it eventually winds up on the warrant. And I haven't heard whether we intend to schedule this for the special in 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Do you have a question, Dave?
Just one site down the road, 20 years, what would our tax rate be in 20 years that say 16,000 is even a drop in the big bucket? I don't know how anybody could sit here and figure if 16 grand is good 20 years down the road, if they walk off the planet and don't leave any money behind to decommission it, and we're stuck with a field of junk, toxic junk.
Well, again, this is just a proposal that will warrant further review, and it's nothing we have to rush into.
I'd be happy to answer. We don't have to answer that question and don't have any authority. This is a private development on private land owned by a private individual. If said individual walks off and leaves a pile of toxic junk, the town takes action against said individual. Takes the land, sues in land court, goes after him for liability, whatever. This is not a town-owned project.
Right,
So-
my point exactly. They walk off the planet, and we're stuck with it.
We take the land. The land's gonna be worth a lot more than $16,000. As an example, or place a lien on the deed, or sue the guy in district court for the liability and/or cost to the town, should there be any debt.
Kirk?
Jeff, through you to Dave, I'll tell you what, in 20 years, if somebody walks away from that thing, I'll go get it. It costs $10 million to build it. They're not fly-by-night outfits. These, and I think everybody's missing the most important thing. These are built to protect everybody's electricity rates, because this is, I can't speak for the light department, but they're buying affordable, long-term energy for the town. And everybody in here, if you're from town, then you all benefit from it. Oh, Tom, so I know you're still over there. So it's not just, well, yeah, somebody wants to give us free money, oh damn, there must be something wrong, of course. It's more on the lines of what you as ratepayers are gonna get in over a 20 or 30-year period, which is sustainable rates. We're only one more war away from oil going to $8 a gallon, and guess what? A lot of our energy is bought through nuclear and coal, and it's all energy-based. This is sunlight. Don't miss the big picture. The big picture is affordable electric rates for everybody in town. The town's light department is going to be buying the power from this. I think Mr. Berry can reiterate that, correct?
John?
At the risk of being a broken record, for years I've been suggesting that we should be doing something to get more business in town. Well, there's a small way of doing it.
Right.
And it's not only getting business in the town, but it's getting some money out of their pocket too.
So,
Kirk, you said the cost of doing it is about 10 million?
I think that's like the numbers everybody floats when
Okay,
they're
because,
talking about.
we're just trying to quickly
Don't
calculate.
quote me 7 to 10 or
And
something
it
like that. I
does,
know there's a lot
I was
of
gonna
money.
say, it does sound like $16,000 a year. You're talking, it's basically, what did we come up with? Yeah, you're talking of an assessment of well over 16, 17 million, so, I mean, 16,000 is a good number.
In other words, they're paying a fair amount for the value of what it took them to build it. At this point, our rate goes up to 25 or whatever, we'll come out short again, but,
Well, if it does.
you know.
Yeah, we'll all be leaving town.
all right, and any further discussion? Hearing none. Julie?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Doug? Yes. And yes. The next item on the agenda is the sale of 17 River Road. This was a parcel that was taken for taxes. And we've had it for a while. Someone has, I believe, an adjacent landowner has expressed interest in it, and unfortunately, it's we can't just, I wish we could simplify things, just, sell it to somebody who wants to buy it, but we have to put it out to bid like everything else. And the building inspector has said, through an email, that the house on the lot at 17 Outer River Road needs to be sold as is, and it would have to be torn down due to its condition. It's assessed at $47,700. Of course, you only get what people are willing to pay for it. But it is surplus property that's on the town. It's on the town's books, and it's not on the tax rolls. So the little bit that it takes to put this into process and hopefully get it sold and start generating a little tax revenue, every little bit helps. And since there's already interest in it, hopefully, at the end of the process, it will be sold for a decent amount. So I would entertain a motion.
I would make a motion that we start the process to put the property up for sale, for bid.
No, second it.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? So,
I just want to mention that, yeah, it's been off the tax rolls for a few years now since it was foreclosed on. It's a very small lot, what is it, 7,400 square feet. Any demolishing of the house would have to rebuild. In other words, I'm saying, don't bother putting a minimum bid on it, because it's kind of going to be whatever you can get for it, just get it back on the tax rolls. Whether or not someone could really turn around and would have to rebuild in the footprint, there's basically no yard there. It's so, it's such a small and uneven lot, there's no backyard, there's only a little bit of a side yard. So that's just my recommendation. I dropped off a couple of field cards this afternoon of similar sales, of houses that sold in the 30,000s, houses that were foreclosed on. Those houses were not, well, the people aren't tearing them down, and they're just remodeling, and a lot of those 3 sales all had a lot more land. So take that into consideration and just get it out there, best offer, and boom, put it
yeah,
back on the tax rolls.
it's listed as .17 acres, so
Yeah.
it would be good for like the homeowner next to it.
It would be
buy it
perfect
just to,
for an abutter.
just to expand it.
Unless somebody really wants to go in there and tear the house down and put something smaller up and live on a little postage stamp piece of land, all power to them.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. Julie?
Yes. On the tax.
Ken?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
And yes.
I just have a quick added statement to that. You might want to look, there's a couple of other parcels that we also own, and maybe that should be brought up at another meeting, that there's some pieces of land out there, and get them back on the tax rolls. They're not bringing in any money, and I'm sorry, but, $200 is $200 more than we have this year.
All right. The next item on the agenda is the IGR for lowering regional school assessment. And this was brought up at a past meeting as, excuse me. This was brought up at a past meeting. It involved possibly lowering Templeton's assessment for the Narragansett School, Regional School District. And this came up, one of the things of many in the long drawn out discussion, if you will, over school budgets and funding of them and votes and things like that. And an email was sent, and there was a response. This was from Rick Kingsley, the Bureau Chief, Municipal Data Management and Technical Assistance Bureau, Division of Local Services. This inquiry was submitted by Selectman Julie Farrell. Mr. Kingsley answered. And this was the answer. Dear Mrs. Farrell, I apologize for the delay in responding to your email as I was on vacation. I should probably start by discussing the budget status for the Narragansett Regional School District. From your email, it appears that the district has a legally approved budget. If the selectmen in each of the two member towns, and majority in the two-member district is considered to be both towns, were to vote to apply for the waiver, we would consider the application. However, upon a quick review of the E&D balances for Narragansett in recent years, it does not appear that the financial indicators for a waiver exist at the regional school. Nonetheless, for the sake of argument, if the two boards of selectmen were to request a waiver, and our review finds that the region has fewer one-time reserves available this year, a waiver would be granted. Given that the regional school district has a legally adopted budget, however, it would then require the boards of selectmen in each town to approve the waiver. Upon approval of each town's selectmen, the regional school district would be required to lower assessments. Given that the selectmen in each town must approve the use of the waiver if granted as the final step, the Templeton Board could simply vote not to approve the waiver if one were to be granted. Please keep in mind that this example is hypothetical and the actual outcome of a waiver application would depend on the regional school district's use of one-time revenue in the prior year that are not available in fiscal year 2014. Thanks, Rick Kingsley. Which basically says that's most likely a unwinnable uphill battle. It's possible, but both the towns of Phillipston and Templeton would have to okay it, and seeing how Phillipston used their free cash to pay the increased assessment this year, it's probably highly unlikely that they would vote to reverse themselves, so to speak. So at least at this time, it seems like that door is closed, or it'd be very hard, and